Shalom and Erev Tov, Mishpacha. Welcome and good evening, family. I'm glad you could join me here tonight, and I hope you all are at home, safe and warm. I'm going to bring my little table here close by. Okay. All right. And I hope you're all relaxing at home after a long day, and you've got your favorite beverage, your favorite warm beverage to warm yourselves. And I do too, thanks to Kifa, who brought me my green tea. Oh, thank you, honey. All right. Well, I'm going to wait a couple of minutes here for people to come on, and of course, this program is called Ask the Rabbina, and for good reason. This is the program where you get to ask me. I'm the Rabbina. You get to ask me whatever questions that you have concerning what we believe, who we worship, how we worship, and anything pertaining to this Bible, spirit-filled, Bible-believing lifestyle, because we believe that worship and holiness is not just for an hour on a weekend on the Sabbath, but it's for the whole week, the whole month, the whole year, for all your days. And we believe it's a lifestyle. It's not just a moment, it's a lifestyle. So also I want to invite you, if you have any questions or comments, any scripture verses you'd like to bring forth, please use our live chat, and you can do that below this video. If you are watching on YouTube, that's where it is. If you're not watching on YouTube, if you're watching on a different platform, just go to your left or to your right, and you'll see where it says live chat or comments. And then you can put your questions, your comments in there. Okay. Usually we have this open for whatever you want to talk about. And once the genie's out of the bottle with the first question, that usually will spark another question and a bigger conversation. Sometimes it goes that way. Sometimes it's a variety of questions that we'll talk about for a little bit, and then we'll talk about the next subject. And of course, sometimes the subject, the theme, is predetermined. Now, I do have in my mind a theme that we can go with if we don't have any other subject. And okay, so I've got a comment, and guess who it is? It's Kifa. And Kifa says, Erev Tov. He says, good evening. Good evening, Kifa. And I hope you're well. And I know he's in the cold room. It seems like every room in the house is a cold room nowadays. But I hope you're all nice and cozy and warm and safe. And safe. There's no need to go outside right now. It is just too cold. Unless you are watching this from Tahiti or South America somewhere, you're probably having some cold weather, and so I hope you're able to stay safe and warm at home. Okay, so one thing that's been on my mind, and I'd like to get your opinion, if you would like to put your comments or questions on the comments area. I got in my news feed on Facebook. It was the subject was the Super Bowl, and I know a lot of people are all excited about the Super Bowl. This is where it's accepted to idolize Generally accepted, not really. Yahweh doesn't accept this, but our society accepts idolizing sports figures or sports teams. And if you like football and you're all excited about the Super Bowl, fine, that's great. Um, that's your decision. But as with everything, a lot of times people will take it too far. And it's with a lot of things, not just sports, but Hollywood, screen stars. Um, Sometimes they're called screen idols, and for a good reason, for understandable reason. Or in the music industry, there's well, we all know of a program where people compete and they strive to achieve this position of being an American Idol. And it's very it's very telling when you call somebody an idol. Oh, shalom, Sister Pam. And oh, good to see you here tonight. She says, Shalom, family. Abba is so good. He helped me find my phone. Yay! It was a testimony to a driving. Oh, good. Okay. That's awesome. I hope you were able to um, share that with your student. Sister Pam teaches driving. And then she continues, thank you for all your prayers. Yes, yes. And that's something that I hope everybody knows who's tuning in. If you have a prayer request, you go ahead and put it in the comments area and we will pray for you. And she says, I have heat and I have my phone back too. Yay. A student helped me find it at the end of our drives. It was a testimony to him that God is real. Love, Pam. Thank you, sister. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful praise report. And that's another thing that all y'all can put in the comments area. If you don't have a prayer request, but you've got a praise report, please post it here so we can rejoice with you. We can thank the Lord for his goodness and his faithfulness. So that's what it's about. That's what it's about. This little community of ours online here on YouTube. That's what we do. That's what we do here on this program. We discuss, we talk about our God, we share how good he is, what he's done for us, and we talk about those things that please him. And also sometimes we talk about those things that don't please him as a warning, as a loving warning to people that the best way is Yah's way. And so that's what we share here on Ask the Rabbina. So it's not just about asking questions, it's about giving all glory, honor, and praise to our Maker. So good, good, good. Okay, so I started to talk about the Super Bowl and how a lot of people idolize these sports figures, and it's okay to admire someone for their accomplishments, for their skill. And it's so pleasing to me when some of them will, as they're being interviewed, and even at the end of a play or something, they will give glory to the one that deserves all the glory. And unfortunately, some uh, some TV stations, some radio stations don't want to hear that. And so they will actually cut out the portions where a player is giving glory to our Savior, glory to the Father in heaven. They don't want to hear it. And so our prayer should be that nothing and no one would blot out the glory and praise that we give to our Maker, because he deserves it all. He's the one that is the giver of the gifts, so that's why we praise him. I know many people when they and we're talking about sports right now. I know there's music and film and lots of other different um, expressions of gifts and talents that people have. But I kind of want to focus on what's going on in currently with football. Um, that I know that people idolize players for having skill, for being quick, for being able to um, score points and help their team win, or help the team of the individual who is following that team win. Um, everybody has their favorites, and so that's okay to admire um, high scoring teams, admire high scoring individuals that help their team gain victory. It's okay to, to support them. However, when it gets so that it's unreasonable, where it gets to be idolizing, making idols of these teams, making idols of these sports figures, then it's going into dangerous area. Um, the skills and the talent that these these players have, yes, they can hone those skills and talents by practice, by working out, by constantly uh, doing whatever it takes to get good at what they do. You have to start somewhere. You have to have that aptitude. And for sports figures, you kind of start with a good basis, which it's our creator that gives us the basic build, the basic aptitude, and of course it's up to the individual to practice, to work out, to build those muscles, to hone those skills so that they do something with that basic gift. But without that basic gift, they can do nothing. So, I'm going to try and think of an example. If if a person, and I don't know, it may be a bad example, but if a person is born with, I'll use myself as an example. I wanted to be a ballerina when I was little. That's what I wanted to be. But I didn't have the basis, the basic build, the basic um, ability. I may have had the aptitude to learn these dance routines and the desire to practice, but I wasn't born with I was born with a a birth defect that kept me from being a ballerina. Oh, I had the desire, but all the desire in the world um, is not going to make it happen for me to even have a solid base to start with. So I had to choose something else. And so that something else was another gift that Yahweh gave me, and that was a gift of music. It was something where I didn't have to rely on um, my physical attributes, my strengths physically. I didn't have to rely on that. I had other gifts that Yahweh gave me, and so I concentrated my efforts there and learned to excel in music in that area. So this is, I guess, would be an example of it being Yahweh who gives us the basis to take from there, put the effort in, put the time in to develop those gifts. Another example, Yahweh may have given someone a gift of prophecy, but that person decided instead of using that gift in the proper way, in the way that Yahweh desires that person to use that gift, and instead merchandises that gift. So instead of being used prophetically, they decide, well, I'm going to do this for money, and basically they become a fortune teller. The gift is there, but they diluted that gift, they've twisted that gift, and opened themselves to Hasatan, the enemy, to take advantage of those gifts and take advantage of the weakness of that person spiritually and also mentally. And so now that gift has been twisted and it's no longer going in the direction that Yahweh had intended. So Yahweh gave the gift, but it's up to the person to use that gift for good or for evil. Well, in the case of these sports, these athletes, the ones that succeed, are given a gift by Yahweh, and it's up to them to use that gift in the way that Yahweh intends. But sometimes an athlete will not continue and they will develop that gift, but then they take it on themselves, all the adulation, all the glory they give themselves. It goes to their heads, and fame, notoriety, riches twists them. And so they move away from using those gifts to honor Yahweh. There are some that do honor Yahweh, and yes, Yahweh can use sports figures to bring glory to his name and to bring people into the kingdom. People that the only Messiah that they see, the only Yeshua, Jesus, that they see is the character of a godly person who just happens to be a sports figure. That person's in front of them. That's an available, I guess, we see the example that these sports figures show in front of the public. And so when we see the good that they do, when we see them giving glory to our Creator, and we see that they're generous with the money that they've earned through playing sports, establishing orphanages, going all around the world and sharing the gospel, providing for sick children to have the medical care that they would not otherwise afford to be able to have. These sports figures are using their fame, their talent, because that's how they got their fame, their talent, their fame, and their riches for good. Then you've got the other end of the spectrum, where the athlete starts looking at themselves as being solo, being the only one, the only way that they have achieved these positions, these high positions of fame in their chosen field. And so they squander the riches that they attain through those gifts and spend it on the wrong thing. They they will either build up all these riches for themselves and that's it. they don't they don't help other people. And instead they engage in behavior that is not godly. I read a statistic at one time that the Super Bowl, and it's not the people that created the Super Bowl or promote the Super Bowl, but during the time when the Super Bowl is being played, is one of the highest occurrences of spousal abuse. And you can look it up, you can Google it, but during that time, many men, whether they're players on the field or armchair quarterbacks at home, many men, too many men, not all, but too many men, when they see their team doing badly, when they see that their team has lost the Super Bowl, has lost the big game, their anger goes over the top and they wind up abusing their spouses, they abuse their children. Because of that anger, they've put so much of their faith and their idolizing on those players and on their team that the anger goes over the top. And there's such high incidence of spousal abuse, um, domestic battery, and it's sad, it's horrible. It shouldn't be that way at all, but these are the statistics. And am I blaming football? Am I blaming the Super Bowl? No. No. Um, the blame should solely be on those who have elevated the game, the players, the teams so high that they just go into a rage when they don't win. And that's really sad. That is really sad. And that's not what Yahweh wants. He's the giver of the gift, but when the gift is misused and when people they raise the gift above the gift giver, when they raise human beings, teams and players above everything else, then it's a problem. I'd like to hear more comments here. If you would just comment in the comment area. Have you yourself witnessed this kind of thing, this misplacement of our admiration, um, and have it produce consequences that are not good? So go ahead and comment there if you have anything. Also, while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to go on to the next subject, and it's a related subject. I saw where the Super Bowl halftime, which is a big deal. I mean, a lot of companies, they pay millions of dollars to have their companies or their brand advertised during the Super Bowl. And there's even it's almost a contest to see whose Super Bowl ad is the most creative, is the most funny, is the most outrageous. Um, and there's even collections of these Super Bowl ads that people will put on YouTube or they'll replay um, on other stations. Um, and they're quite entertaining. They're quite entertaining. Um, but during the halftime um, is when the biggest money is spent. And so this year, um, the powers that be in the Super Bowl announced that their main entertainer is a gentleman, and I use that term loosely. I mean, he might be a very nice person, but what he's doing isn't so great. But anyway, their main entertainer this year is an artist called Bad Bunny. That should tell you something. um, so this Bad Bunny is an entertainer from Puerto Rico. And that's fine. That's fine. But he is has advertised, he is saying that he's going to be doing, his show, his the halftime show. He's going to be presenting things that are not exactly family friendly, not godly in the least. And now, one of the things he said he was going to do is to push back on what's been going on with our borders here in the US, where we've closed the borders and everybody's been so concerned about ICE agents rounding up people for deportation. And those people are criminals, they're gang members, they are drug runners, drug cartels. They are the kind of people that we don't want in this country. And it's not because of the color of their skin or the language that they speak, it's because of what they're doing. And that's what ICE is going after. Now, Bad Bunny has said, well, to fight against ICE or to bring attention to the whole situation, that he's going to sing all his songs in Spanish. Well, that's okay if you know Spanish, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm sure it's been done before, but he's wanting to do it exclusively in Spanish. So he's alienating those who don't speak Spanish. You can mix Spanish and English, and that would kind of appeal to a broader audience, but he doesn't care about that. He's getting paid no matter what he does. And so he's taking advantage of that situation. So not only is he going to do all his songs in Spanish, and he's saying this is a pushback. This is a protest. Okay, that's why he's doing it. It's not for anything else, really. Um, Plus, his whole theme is, how did he put it? Um, it's something like he's elevating the LGBT XYZ agenda. He's promoting it so much so that he's already announced that he's going to be wearing a dress during the Super Bowl halftime. And so he said something like, well, let's see if I can find it here. I don't want to misquote, but I'm looking here. Okay. Um, see where I found it. Hmm. Okay, I don't have it there. Um, well, anyway, he's basically saying he's going to promote the queer agenda. And I may be misquoting him a little bit, but that's basically the root of it. And so he's doing this by wearing a dress for the Super Bowl halftime and doing other things. So he's really going to be lifting up the LGBT, etc. Cause. This is another way of alienating Americans who want to watch a football game, the great American pastime. Well, I guess that's baseball is the great American pastime, but it's right up there. And so it's another way of alienating. It's another way of um, shaking a fist at society, and of course, shaking a fist at the Most High, because we know that Yahweh does not approve of that. And I have some scriptures here. Deuteronomy 22, verse 5, it says, "A woman shall not wear a man's apparel, nor shall a man put on a woman's garment. For whoever does such things is an abomination to the Lord your God." And so he doesn't care. That's what he wants to do. He doesn't care. So he's shaking a fist at the one who created us all as male or female, male and female. There's no in between. There's no other designation outside of that. Now, I understand that sometimes because of sin, in the world, um, sometimes people are born with both characteristics. And so this is where the parents have to decide, well, and with the doctor have to decide um, which is the best way to go because of the physiology of the baby. That's something else entirely. But the intent, and right in the very beginning, Yahweh created mankind perfectly, male and female. And there's distinctions. There is distinctions. Now I know when I just mentioned Deuteronomy 22:5 about basically is talking about cross-dressing. Women don't dress like a men don't dress like a woman. Um, and basically this is in a way saying don't do what is not meant for you. I know some people will say, well, women, what about women who wear pants? We have to understand that any time in history, at any point in history, there are distinctions in dress. Back in the time of Yeshua, when Yeshua was on this earth, everyone, men and women, wore some kind of tunic. But women's tunics were longer. Men's tunics could be long or they could be shorter depending on the kind of job that they had. If what they did was physical, like if they were fishermen, they didn't wear long tunics down to their ankles. The priests did. The priesthood did because they weren't doing anything extremely physical. But someone like a fisherman or a carpenter or any kind of laborer, their tunics would be shorter, so it was easier for them. The decorations on their garments were distinct. Men's garments had more masculine styling. Women's garments, even though they look the same, had feminine embroidery or beadwork or something that made them distinctly feminine. The garments were the same, they were both tunics, but something about the trim, something about the style was either masculine or feminine. In ancient Egypt, in Roman times, and even in modern day Scotland, men wear kilts. They wear basically like a skirt. It looks like a skirt, but they're called kilts. These are not women's garments. These are men's garments because of the way they're the coloring, the decoration, the cut, the trim. They're masculine. Generally, when women wore garments or when men wore garments that resembled what nowadays we would say a dress or a skirt, that was the style. Men wore the shorter version. Women wore the longer version. Nowadays, you see men wearing pants, and this is normal in our time, in our culture. Men wear pants. Women wear pants. But men will not wear most men who want to put forth a masculine look won't wear a pair of pants with lace trim or embroidery on the pockets or rhinestones on the seam, but women will. It's the same garment, but they're styled slightly differently. When you cross that line, it's falsehood. You are portraying yourself to be the sex that you are not. And that's where you get people who are cross-dressing. They put on makeup, they'll wear wigs or grow their hair long and style it in a feminine style and insist that they should be addressed as ma'am. That's falsehood. That's bearing false witness, and Yahweh does not look kindly upon that. That is an abomination to him. When you try to look like the opposite sex and you've convinced yourself that that's what you are, and you try to convince others, get others to pretend along with you, that is not that's not truth. That's falsehood. And I know many people will defend others. Well, that's their truth. They feel like they're a woman trapped in a man's body or vice versa. But Yahweh doesn't make any mistakes. You are what you are. And no matter how you dress up, no matter even what you've done surgically, your chromosomes will tell the world what you are. 2 X's is female. An X and a Y chromosome is male. And there's really no other designation. So we need to be careful about portraying ourselves. How do we portray ourselves to others? Now, I'm a self-admitted tomboy. When I was younger, yeah, I loved wearing jeans and t-shirts and tennis shoes and climb trees, play in the mud, ride horses. I mean, that was something that I liked to do, but never did I think that I was male because of all that. Sure, I like playing cowboys and Indians with my male cousins, but I never tried to tell anyone, "Well, I'm a boy now." No, there are girls that like, I guess, traditional boy things. And there's boys that, like, to be quiet or be, maybe play house or, you know, remember G.I. Joe? That was a doll. It was just a different kind of doll, you know, but you are what you are. No matter how your personality is, there are very strong women and there are very soft men, and it's just their personalities. But never does your gender change. And yes, gender and sex are the same. And ask any true biologist, and they will tell you, any doctor will tell you, when archaeologists dig up a skeleton in their digs, archaeological digs, they can tell right away, is this a woman or a man? They can tell by the bones, by the way the bones are formed. So doesn't matter how many surgeries you've had, doesn't matter how much makeup you wear or don't wear, um, how many hormone pills you're taking or injections you're taking, you are what you are. And there's really, you can't change that. So go with your personality, but you can't change who you are. Um, okay. All right. Well, I don't know if there's anyone else that's got anything to say about that, but this is the word of Yahweh. This is what he says, and he is much wiser than we are. He has more knowledge than we have. He is holy, and so he doesn't make mistakes. He's perfect. He's perfection. And so who are we to argue with that? And I know there are some who will argue, "Oh, well, I really feel like I'm more this way." Well, that's fine, but you still are what you are. So, okay, and I'm waiting for any comment on that. Okay, well, we are a quarter after the hour, and looks like we're going to wrap things up, um, unless somebody's got something else to add here. I do hope that you were blessed tonight. I hope you're home safe and warm and blessed. And um, tonight, usually we go a half an hour, and we went 45 minutes tonight, and that's okay. Um, I'm glad that you were here to join me, and I hope that if you've been blessed by this program, that you will like and subscribe to our channel. We are hoping that as you do this, that it will help the algorithms um, to point others to our programs as well. And also you will get notices that we are putting forth other programs. So tonight, of course, is called Ask the Rabbina, and it's a Q&A. So I'm hoping to get more people asking questions. But as we close out tonight's program, even after this program is closed, please go ahead and make any comments that you would like to make on the chat area underneath this video. And if you have any questions, I'll try and answer them as best I can. But I do hope you'll join us next Monday night at 6:30 for Ask the Rabbina. And of course, this Wednesday is Midweek Midrash, and that's our Bible study. And we will be continuing our series called The Pillars, and we will be doing a study on the matriarchs and how Yahweh used them. So, and then of course, Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m., that's Central Time. Please join us online for our Shabbat service, our Sabbath service. If you're able, I'm hoping the weather it'll get a little better so people can join us in person. If you're able to join us in person, please do. We would love to see you in person, and we'd love to get to know you, worship with you, and have some fellowship afterwards. So, again, that's every Sabbath, that's Saturday at 1 p.m. Central. And so I do hope that you were blessed by this program. And if you have a comment, if you have any suggestions on any other subject you'd like to talk about on Ask the Rabbina, please do. I would love to get some feedback from you. So I do hope that you will join us next time. And stay safe, stay warm, stay home if you must. And until next time, shalom, shalom.